What's up everybody? On today's video, we're going to be looking at the top 10 places in Florida with the fastest growth. How do you even go about determining which places in Florida had the most growth? By city, by county, by numbers of people moving, or by percentage of growth? We're going to look at actual cities, city limits, and we're going to look at a few things. One is between 2010 and 2020, how much did these places grow? We're going to look at both population numbers and percentages. Then, did it continue to grow after the year 2020? How much new construction has gone into the area since then? We're also going to look at, can it continue to grow? Are there any geographical or infrastructural barriers that will prevent this place from continuing to grow in the future? Number 10 is Freeport Florida, 30% population increase, adding 17,000 people before 2020, and the infrastructure isn't catching up to this incredible amount of new houses being built. Part of Sarasota County, but for all practical purposes is closer to Punta Gorda. Then the place is notorious for always getting hit really hard by hurricanes. The infrastructure here is literally crumbling. Imagine this, you have a retention wall in your backyard that literally keeps your property from falling into a canal. Is it the county that's going to fix it? The homeowner? Are they going to assess you for it? Who's going to pay for this crumbling infrastructure? You wouldn't believe how many neighborhoods were literally left trapped after their bridges got washed away. Many cities and counties in Florida are claiming that they are the fastest growing in the state because by making that claim, even more people will want to move to these places. So we're going to debunk a few myths that many people are spreading. We also have to understand numbers versus percentages. A place may have had a 200% population increase, but if it only means that they're adding 200 people to their town, that's really insignificant. And then there's places, Doral, which is right outside of Miami. They had a huge population boom. However, being that it's landlocked by other areas that are urban or areas that are protected, literally Doral cannot grow anywhere except in population density. The county of Hillsborough, which is not a city, and this is what kind of messes up Tampa, is that most of their growth is in unincorporated places. And this is a huge thing in Florida. Growth in unincorporated places. Both in Hillsborough, Manatee, and Lee County, there's areas that are not incorporated as cities, but they had tremendous amounts of growth. And what that means is that when a nearby city wants to claim that as their own growth, they really can't because technically it's part of an unincorporated county. Number 9 is Winter Haven, Florida. Between Tampa and Orlando, grew by 45%. 15,000 people moved here, and there is still plenty of land in north central Florida to continue growing. And a lot of them are taking very long commutes to other cities to get work. Rural Lake County outside of Orlando picked up 87,000 people with an almost 30% growth rate. However, most of Lake County is unincorporated, so it's hard to really contribute that growth to any specific city. What is scary is that people are moving here in large numbers, thinking that they're going to find opportunity because that's what they're being told by a lot of people. But the reality of this area is that rents are very high compared to what you're going to get paid, and there just aren't any real sources of incomes and jobs. There's like services and retail and stuff, but like real jobs that are going to pay for real stuff and like get you ahead in life, those things don't exist here. I don't think they give a crap what happens to people once they move here. Once they move here, it's just another number for their analytics for them to brag about. I just find it crazy how they portray moving to this area of Florida and how they're making it seem like it's the fastest growing area because there's so many great things going on. And when I go to these parts of Florida, I don't see anything special out here. Polk County is a huge area and it has added a lot of population, but at least they have a few things to do here. There's a Legoland park and there's a Peppa Pig themed theme park. Hillsborough County, which is the area of Tampa, they added 230,000 people between 2010 and 2020, and since then it's not stopped growing. They moved to unincorporated areas. For some reason, these cities in Florida are not being incorporated. Examples like Riverview outside of Tampa, and of course the notorious Lehigh Acres. That is very difficult to claim that as growth for a nearby city. Number 8 is Crestview, Florida. They had grown 29%, and I'm sure a whole lot more since, because this is a very popular town. A lot of people from Alabama are moving here because I guess on the way to Florida beaches, they drive through here and they like it, they fall in love. I think this town's going to continue to grow. Land is plentiful in this part of the Florida Panhandle. Just a lot of people leaving Alabama, coming to Florida, and this is just a logical place for them to end up. It's still relatively affordable. You're close to Florida Panhandle beaches, and it's not so much by numbers or percentages. It's just a combination of different factors that to me show that these places are not only growing in the past, these are places that I think are going to continue to grow their population in the future.
It's in Fort Myers, Florida.
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
Show them how to say that.
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers, though.
All right, man.
Yeah, tell me I can't put that, though.
Number 7 is Fort Myers, Florida, and I did live in a Fort Myers address for a little over a year. I have a lot of fun out there. I really love this city, but I have to admit, man, the place has no opportunities at all. It's expensive. Everybody's trying to rip you off. You just don't make a lot of money. And I had to commute all the way to Naples, Florida, because I just couldn't find any decent paying jobs in the Fort Myers area. I got a business license from Lee County, and I kid you not, I probably made less than $1,000 the entire year. That's how little work I could find in the Lehigh Acres area, which is, again, a Fort Myers address. Back then, renting a house in this neighborhood could easily run you for $2,600 a month if it was brand new. I have no idea what it would cost now after Hurricane Ian, since prices went up even higher. Don't judge me, but my favorite thing to do was hang out in the hood at night in Fort Myers. We would get tacos and pineapple drinks at 2 in the morning outside of a food truck. Everybody said this neighborhood was dangerous. I don't think I ever really saw any crimes take place in that little area of Palm Beach Boulevard. However, in my neighborhood in Buckingham, Florida, I did see a surprisingly large number of crime. A lot of my packages kept getting stolen, and there seemed to be a lot of property crime, namely little punk kids who would go around doing donuts on people's grass or crashing in the mailbox, or just stupid crimes that stupid little rich kids do when they have nothing better to do and their parents buy them a brand new ATV so they can cause havoc on the neighborhood so they don't have to freaking raise them. Number 6 is St. Cloud, Florida, right outside of Orlando. They have grown 67% with over 24,000 people moving here. This area offers unmatched natural beauty with many lakes and tropical vegetation. The area offers beautiful, charming, and quiet neighborhoods. Close to the Orlando airport and easy access to the Florida East Coast beaches, with walking trails, lakes, and shady large trees, as well as beautiful historic homes. St. Cloud offers a small town feel with old Florida vibes in a large metropolitan area. Number 5 is Port St. Lucie. This is one of the largest growing cities in Florida. They have added 40,000 people and grown almost 25%. A popular destination for people from the East Coast as well as from South Florida. Beautifully landscaped areas, private communities, new construction. For Port St. Lucie to continue growing in the future, some type of rezoning is gonna have to happen, as most of the area has already been developed and only empty single family lots are available. Number 4 is the city of Orlando, which has had incredible growth. Over 70,000 people have moved here, growing the city by 30%. The city of Orlando continues to grow, and not just the city of Orlando, the entire metropolitan area. This is quite possibly the largest construction in the United States, with the exception of perhaps the Austin area. Many of the places growing in Florida are only getting single family home construction. When you look at Orlando, They're putting in infrastructure, hotels, businesses, large complexes, with commercial and infrastructure taking the lead in types of constructions happening in the Orlando area. You can expect that the metro area will continue to grow and attract a lot more people. Due to being in the central part of the state, Orlando has been able to expand. Other areas along the coast are really limited. These geographical barriers, like protected wetlands, have made it difficult for coastal building. Number 3 is Freeport, Florida. This is going along the Florida Panhandle. 4,000 people have moved to this small town. That means that percentage-wise, we're talking 228% increase. And it's very significant for a small town to have that many people and that much percentage growth. I believe that in the future, the Florida Panhandle will take a larger role in new home construction. The Florida Panhandle offers what many places in Florida are lacking, which is the availability of large plots of land. Being adjacent to some of the most beautiful beaches in Florida, it's only expected that people are going to continue to move to this part of the state. Number 2 is Davenport, Florida. The second fastest growing city in Florida has added over 6,000 people to a small town, increasing its population by over 200%, and it's definitely one of the most booming places in all of Florida. These beautiful rolling hills are close to Orlando parks, infrastructure. Future expansion is expected. There isn't fear to put investment into this area. What was once nothing more than a small town today is the epicenter for Florida's growth. At the intersection of Highway 27 and Interstate 4, this area is a transportation hub connecting large pockets of Florida's population. It is centrally located, very close to many areas that are going to continue to grow. Most of the growth and construction is along Highway 27, and what is actually the town of Davenport remains about the same. And despite massive infrastructure, the area continues to be plagued with horrific traffic problems. And number 1 is Clermont, located right outside of Orlando. This is the fastest growing area in Florida. 14,000 people have moved here, adding a almost 50% population gain, but some adjacent smaller communities have seen even larger growth. This area along Highway 50 west of Orlando offers rolling hills, beautiful lakes, and a central location close to the theme parks of Orlando and easy access to other highways heading north. Whether it's its geographical location or its natural beauty or the combination of both, this area has become a prime location for new home construction. This area has lent itself perfectly for the needs of builders and new residents to the state of Florida. However, not everything is perfect here, and many people what they call spillover crime from the city of Orlando and its inner cities has become a problem for many of the residents, who say despite it being a beautiful place, there does seem to be a lot of crime originating from the larger metropolitan area. All of these new homes and all of this development is taking place adjacent to some poverty that's existed in Florida for many years, and now you find yourself with some beautiful new homes being built next to some poverty that hasn't changed in a very long time, and many of the long-time residents feel that all this growth and development isn't helping their lives get any better. As this area continues to grow and appreciate in value, many of the poor communities that were already here are finding life even more difficult than it was before. And even in West Orlando, impoverished neighborhoods are still having influx of people from other states who, despite their poverty, have decided to come to Florida, where life is more demanding, housing is more expensive, job markets are more competitive, but they feel it's a lot safer and better of a place to live than where they were before. Those are the top 10 fastest growing cities in the state of Florida. If you need a realtor in the state of Florida, my wife, Katherine, the great Katie, has her own channel. You can find her in the bottom somewhere, either in the comments or in the video description. So if you decide to reach out to Katie about real estate, make sure you understand that what I'm doing on my channel and what she does with real estate are two completely different things. On her channel, you can find her email address. All right, guys, that is today's video.